Also, a little note before we start this video, Nikola Vucevic thinks he's staying in Chicago, with Gobert being rumored, and people like Casey Jones had a discussion with that potential issue, but Elias Schuster of Bleacher Nation said that Nikola Vucevic is under the impression he's going to be here for a while. So let's hop into this Mitchell Robinson video after stating. Yo, what's going on, guys? And here we are. We're talking about our man Mitchell Robinson, because allegedly, we know the Bulls have talked or flirted about being interested with Rudy Gobert, which would include Nikola Vucevic in the trade. But I just got a text message. Either way, I want to hear your thoughts down below. Listen to this. The New York Post has learned that the Bulls are continuing their research on the bigs in the free agency market. With Mitchell Robinson ahead of the July 1st free agency period, the Bulls could be the main competitors for Robinson if the Knicks don't lock him up with a contract extension on June 30th. The Bulls want to enhance their interior defense and believe Robinson could be a good fit slotted alongside offensive-minded center Nikola Vucevic. Chicago reportedly has $49 million in cap space, but that's before if they do re-sign Zach Lavine. So before re-signing Zach Lavine, they have $49 million in cap space, arguably. And meanwhile, an NBA source said the center star of Dallas is not expected to be interested in Robinson at his hefty price tag, at least $11 million per year to start, and have set their sight on cheaper free agent centers. In February, sources indicated Robinson was not in a good place with his relationship with the Knicks, and his uncle tweeted that he can't wait for Robinson to leave New York. However, sources indicate it's likely Robinson will simply take the best offer available after being paid the NBA minimum in his first 4 years in the NBA. Now let's hop over to John Hollinger. John Hollinger is a guy who's created this thing called the board rating, which he has on his board rating, which he uses the value but value players. And in this case, he used his board system to value non-all-star big men in the current NBA free agency market. And one of those guys that he gave a board rating to was Mitchell Robinson. And Mitchell Robinson got $18.8 million as his board rating, which is really good. Though he did say that he would take under on the board estimate, and that he does believe he'll take a deal that is probably closer to $11 to $15 million a year. Because look, Robinson supported the idea of paying him like a starting five by staying in the lineup for 72 games last season. And the 7-footer is also in a rare position of being an unrestricted free agent at only 24 years old. His athleticism is such that he shoots 72.2% for his career, and has blocked 7.7% of opponent shots in that time, and it's crazy how good Mitchell Robinson is. Like, Mitchell Robinson, he's a phenomenal player. Like, this past season, he shot 76% from the field. He's a career 72.2% field goal shooter. How ridiculous is that? And look, 7.7 of opponent shots in that time have been blocked by him. And he's the ideal shot blocker, rim runner guy. He's probably like one of the most elite shot blocking rim runners in the NBA. And now you're thinking, what's the holdup? Obviously, there's some concerns that Robinson has bulked up too much. He played at 270 pounds, and it's taken away some of that bounciness that he's been best attributed. And additionally, he has no skill level or shooting range outside of 5 feet from the basket. And Robinson can be very limited offensively, with his offensive usage rate last year being only 11.4% as the prime example. Now, do you like the idea of the Chicago Bulls getting him? I like the idea. Look, they had Tony Bradley last year, and they were actually running Tony Bradley a decent amount. I just imagine Mitchell Robinson playing that Tony Bradley role. I think it would just be a game changer, and I think they do need a guy like a Mitchell Robinson on their team, to be quite frank. Now, we expect $35 million goes to Zach Lavine, which means they'll have $14 million. And I think their best bet is, instead of trying to do a Rudy Gobert trade, re-sign Zach Lavine and then give Mitchell Robinson about $11 to $14 million. Maybe sign him to a 2-year deal. Or really, you might have to do whatever, sign him to a 4-year deal. Because this is a guy who, if you get him, he's perfect. You put Vooch at the 4, DeMar at the 3. You could argue Zach at the 2 and Ball at the 1. Oh my God, that's a huge lineup. Okay, Vooch will shoot threes, and then you also have the idea of our guy DeMar, and also you could throw out Patrick Williams out there if you need to go defensive, or you could have lineups where it's Mitch starting and Vooch off the bench if you want to try to Vooch ever off the bench in the playoffs. Okay, this gives you a bunch. Vooch would never come off the bench, but if they ever needed to, just per se in the playoffs for matchups, that could work. I want to hear your thoughts down below. Would you get it? Also, look how busted my lip is. Oh, I busted my lip. Some kid playing basketball at the rec. I went up for a rebound and I took his elbow on the way down. Still got the board. Still kept playing. Kind of bad.